Hello. Cat passing by my house. Anyway, welcome to the Junk Wizards podcast. This is also the video version for YouTube. I am going to be messing around and putting some signs together while I make this video, so you might hear some clinging and clanging around. I got the old junk removal. It's backwards, but yeah. Anyway, today I'm going to talk about one of the worst houses we've ever had in our junk removal journey here. So basically, we got a call, and a guy said, "Hey, man, I need a basement cleaned out over here in Detroit." And I said, "All right, man, well, let me come over and give you a quote. We'll check it out for you." And he said, "Well, you know, it's pretty bad. It's you know, there's a lot of garbage down there. There's a lot of stuff in my basement. It's a pretty big pile, so just be warned, okay?" And I said, "All right, hey, man, you know, at this point in about a year and a half of doing this, I was like, I've pretty much seen it all at this point. There's not a lot that can really faze me anymore." So I went over there, and it was in kind of a, you know, more lower income neighborhood of Detroit. And I show up, and I go down in the basement with this guy. The guy's really cool. I mean, he's a an auto mechanic. He does kind of work on the side of his house there. He was, you know, very accommodating, very what's the word I'm looking for? Just nonchalant, very nonchalant about this whole situation. So we go to the basement, and this is not your average basement. This is a basement where I guess he had a vehicle crash through it at one point because he lives off the highway, and so there's an on or an off ramp that goes right into his house, basically. So somebody came off the highway, slammed into his house, and broke the foundation where the basement is. So that's now his new entrance, and it's under his porch. So like front stairs go up to the front door. Under the porch is where the basement was, and that's where this big hole in the wall that we went down under. So think big hole, cinder block, you know, really makeshift stairs. That's what you have to get up and down. It's about I would say a 6-foot drop from the ground into the basement. We walked down there with him. You know, when you first walk in, there's a big pile of concrete. You know, nothing too crazy, some trash in there. Then we go into the main part of the basement, and it's one of the grossest basements I've ever seen in my life. There's a main beam like this, right? It's like this, completely broken. I have videos I'm going to add into this video as well along the way, and I'll show you kind of the whole process that we went through to clean this all up. Yeah, but anyway, we look over, and there's just this pile, just a giant pile of garbage, taller than me. It's about 8 foot tall. When I measured it out, I think it was 18 feet wide, 15 feet long, 8 feet tall, maybe 8 or 9 feet tall. So here's the kind of the backstory on this. Guy was taking a bath up in the 3rd floor. It's a 3-story home, so it's pretty tall. It's a nice house. It was a nice house at one point. He got it on a land bank or from somebody for like $1,100. Really, really cheap. A lot of these people in Detroit, there's a thing called the land bank. I don't know too much about it personally, but I keep doing jobs for these houses that are considered land bank houses. So basically, he was taking a bath upstairs. Just, you know, got his little rubber duckies in there, his little soap and everything. All of a sudden, he falls through two floors all the way into the basement. Just bam, 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 right to the basement floor. Hurts his ribs, hurts his back. You know, he's not doing very well. Now there's a giant 10-foot hole through the entire house, right? So he sets up, you know, a little campsite in the kitchen now. And he's got, you know, 2x4s, and I got pictures. I'll show you pictures of this. He's got 2x4s and pieces of plywood and stuff, like as a bridge across this hole, and he's got his whole like little living quarters in this kitchen. So that's the situation. So he got a little bit lazy, kind of the story of how it goes, and he started throwing stuff into this hole, right? And so then this is now his garbage pile. He keeps throwing stuff in there, and he really likes a certain kind of water. I won't say the water just for his own personal thing, because it is kind of like a weird personality trait of his. But he really likes this certain kind of water. You'll see it in the videos anyway. But he's been throwing these water bottles. He buys them by the 12-pack. He says it's cheaper than buying other kind of water. I don't really know exactly why he did this, but that's what he did. So he's throwing these down there, and then there's a lot of bleach bottles, a lot of rubbing alcohol bottles, like full gallons of this stuff. And I'm like, man, this is just a weird pile. And it didn't stink, not a single smell really. I mean, you get a little bit of like an earthy smell to it. A little bit of dank. It's kind of wet down there. And so we start shoveling, well, okay, sorry. Let me go back a little bit. We got the job. I sold the job. It was about $4,500, $3,500. I can't, one of the two. It was a little while ago when I did this job, which I thought was fair at the time. Because I figured right around 40 yards, roughly 40 to 60 yards, I think it was. And we were going to be there for 2.5 to 3 days was my goal, in which we did. We were there for, I think, 2 full days. So we get the job, we come back, we get all ready to go. I have a 20-yard dumpster, a 20-yard trailer, and a 15-yard trailer. We also rented a 20-yarder as well from another company just because I was like, let's just throw it all, 20, 20, 20, get rid of it all at once and be done. And so our plan was we were going to use those trash cans, like the ones you get at like Lowe's, Menards, anywhere like that. I think they're 72-gallon trash cans with the wheels on them. So I went and bought a couple of those with the lids, and we took them out there, and we got 2 shovels, and we started just shoveling into these things. And we had a guy up top where you had to walk down the stairs. I was the runner, so I was running the trash cans back and forth, and then my other guy was digging. We kind of switched off back and forth when we got tired. I'd switch off and dig, and he would do the trash cans. So, yeah, we're just going to town on this thing for a whole straight day. We get through a lot of it. It's just a lot of shoveling, a lot of loading. We loaded up the 15-yard, then we loaded up the 20. The guy came and picked up the 20 that was his. Our 15 is full. Then I have a 20-yarder out there still. At this point, we're getting into concrete. The pile's getting smaller, but we're getting into, we're peeling off the layers of this onion and getting a little grosser and grosser as we get in there. The thing he kept saying to me, though, was there's nothing organic. He's like, there's nothing organic in this at all. And I was like, what do you mean by that? Why do you keep saying that? And he explained to me that he just never threw food down there. He did urinate into it a lot, though, quite a bit. There was bags of pee hanging around me, and I have also videos and pictures of that as well. I'll add to this video, which is disgusting. A lot of asparagus smells down there. Anyway, so yeah, we get into the middle, and then he's like, somewhere in the middle of that pile, there's a tub. That's the tub I fell down in, and we have pictures and videos of that as well. He fell through the floor, like I said, in this tub, and so we find the tub finally, and I was suggesting let's just pick it up like it is and carry it out. I don't want to disturb anything in this tub because it was sitting straight up and down, like full of stuff. So I said, let's just grab the tub. We'll take it to the trailer and just get rid of it like that. It was too heavy to lift. The tub alone was too heavy without anything in it. It was also full of stuff. So our great idea was let's just dump it out and then we'll break the tub in half because it was like the old cast iron tubs. They're pretty breakable. So when we dump this thing out, it is full of this black, nasty sludge, which I still to this day think was a human being in there. I'm not sure. It could have been, could have not been. I don't know. It smelled like the worst smell I've ever smelled in my life. So we dump it out. Everybody runs off gagging outside. Everyone's terrified of this thing. We all get our masks. We already had masks on, but we now are like fully suited up, and we're like, we got to really, get into this now. It's going to be even grosser than we thought. We finally get this tub broken in half, get it out of there. Scoop all. I went down there. I took one for the team. I scooped the rest of that black stuff into bags, and we put it in the trailer. I don't know what it was. Like I said, I'm not going to ask any questions. But, yeah, we got that out of there. Then we get the rest of the pile out. Everything's all hunky-dory. So guy's happy with what we did. He thinks we're going to take a bunch more stuff, even though I'm not, because the whole bathroom and the second floor fell through as well. And I was like, that was not part of my quote. My quote was the pile. I took the pile. That bathroom is like structural at this point. Your house is about to fall on us. So like the last thing I want to do is take something structural out. There's like pieces of wood hanging up like this on the walls. And like, I was like, I'm not touching any of that stuff, man. That's all you. You got to figure that out on your own. So he was cool with that. We got everything else figured out. Basement was cleaned out. The after photos do not do it justice. It was as clean as can be for that nasty situation. So that's all said and done. We're like, sweet, we're done. No problem. Easy money. Then we get in the trailer and I look at it and I'm like, the tire looks kind of weird on that trailer. What's going on with that? And I just kind of brush it off. I'm like, it must just be heavy, whatever. Because we had this trailer completely full of just like sludge and dirt and nasty stuff. So I go to drive off, and we make it to a place called Hamtramck, which is down the road from where we were at. And all of a sudden, we start smelling burning rubber. And I'm like, God, that is so strong. What is that smell? And I'm like thinking, what is going on here? And so I get out of the trailer. We look at the truck. Nothing's burning. Nothing's smoking. We look at the trailer. Nothing's burning. Nothing's smoking. Everything's good to go. So I'm like, all right, well, maybe it's just I don't know, maybe we ran over something and it's stuck up in there. I don't know. We're only 8 minutes away, or eight miles away. So let's just run it and see what happens. We get about 2 more miles down the road. I see just billowing smoke coming out the back of the trailer. I'm like, all right, we got to pull over. I look at it. The tire is supposed to be like this. It's like this, completely bent in, touching the frame of the trailer. It completely bent the axle in like this. So both tires are touching the frame. They're rubbing against the frame and then causing that tire to get really hot and start to smoke. So I'm like, you know what? We got 6 more miles left. Let's just run it. If it pops, it pops. I got another tire in the truck. We'll just throw it on when we get there. It'll be empty at that point, so we shouldn't have that much weight on it. It shouldn't be an issue. And it did. It exploded. I remember the funniest point of this whole situation. Think redneck dude in a big lifted Ford truck. We're coming through the light. It's turning yellow. I had to just whip through the light. I got basically fire and smoke coming out the back of this trailer. This guy's like, yeah, just screaming out of his truck because we're right next to the dump. He knows exactly where we're going and what we're doing. He knew what was up. It was just the funny. I wish I could have had that on film. That would have been the funniest situation. But anyway, yeah, we get to the dump. Tires flat as can be. It's just ripped apart. I'm running just on the rim. I got to wait in line for 20, 30 minutes for the dump to get, on the line to get through so I can get up into the dump. I pull this thing up there. Everyone's laughing at me, looking at me all crazy. I get up to the top. We pull up. They've got to dig me out because it's full of dirt and stuff. And I'm like, I'm not digging that out by hand. And so he just crashes into my trailer. Probably bent my tires even more. But yeah, so we get unloaded. We get out of there. I'm like, all right, let's address this tire now. I weighed out, paid. Pull off to the side. I didn't have the right socket for the lugs on my tire, so I had to borrow one from the mechanic at the place. Luckily, he had one. Take the tire off, go to put the new one on. I'm like, why won't it fit? What's going on here? It's wrong pattern, wrong lug pattern, wrong rim from a different trailer. I'm like, man, this sucks. So I'm like, what are we going to do? So what we did was I just took the tire off because it's, the axle's hanging down, but it's not touching the ground necessarily. So I'm like, I got 3 other tires. Why can't I just drive it with 3? So we found a tire shop down the road. And by the way, this rim is completely bent and just destroyed. And I'm like, there's no way they're going to be able to get a tire. But maybe they can take, I don't remember what I was thinking, I guess. I was like, maybe they can figure something out for me. I don't know. So we get there. It's about 2 miles down the road. Get to this tire shop. He's like, yeah, give me $60. I'll get a tire on there for you. And I was like, what he did was he took the tire off the rim I already had and put it on the other rim that was already busted from the trailer that had been messed up. That was what I was thinking. And so he's like, yeah, I'll just beat all the outside so the bead is good to go. And we'll just put a tire on it for you. And it worked. He got the tire on, put air in it, held air. Everything was good to go. We drove off out of there. The tire was just barely touching the frame still, though. So it kind of like was eating away at it. So what I did to solve this issue is I put wheel spacers on it. I know it's a Band-Aid. But hey, in a pinch, it worked. I put wheel spacers on each side. It brought the tire out another inch or so, whatever it was, 3/4 of an inch. And that was enough to get it so it would never touch that rim again. Yeah, that was the grossest job we've ever done. It was the hardest job I've ever done. It was a lot of work, a lot of heavy lifting, a lot of just shoveling and shoveling and shoveling for 2 days straight. And, you got to really appreciate the easier jobs now. Even if they are hard, they're still not as bad as that, right? So that's the worst job we've ever had in the junk removal world. We've had some that have come pretty close, but that was definitely, to my knowledge, the worst one I've ever had. So if you guys want to share your stories with me or let me tell your story to the world, please send me a email at drjunkwizards@gmail.com, and I'd be more than willing to check it out and read it out here. So anyway, that being said, I'm going to head out. My worker just pulled up, so yeah, we're going to go do some junk removal there. We're tearing down a treehouse, so that'd be fun. You guys have a good day. Good luck in the junk removal, and may the junk removal gods be with you. Have a nice day, guys. Bye.